Thank you, Sir Gary, and it's always a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I would like to start by thanking the Backbench Business Committee for scheduling this debate, and to the 17 colleagues from across the House who supported this application for a debate on the trends on excess deaths, following on from my adjournment debate on the 20th of October on the same issue. Sir Gary, the eyes of history are upon us. Every generation looks back in wonder at the incredible mistakes of our forebears. They will ask questions such as, how could they possibly realize how wrong they were? What on earth happened to them? Why did they ignore the evidence for so long? Their values and every opportunity to learn from the mistakes of yesteryear. What madness captures men? From 2010 to 2019, annual death rates in England and Wales oscillated between 484,000 and 542,000. In 2020, there were 607,000 deaths, 65,000 more than the maximum in 2018. In 2021, there were 586,000, which is 44,000 more than the 2018 figure. After such a rise, there should be a deficit, a significant deficit. In fact, because sadly, our most vulnerable and elderly, who might have lived a while longer, were taken from us early. But in 2022, there were 577,000 deaths in England and Wales, and in 2023, 581,000. A huge rise when in fact a significant deficit would and should be expected. The deficit and then some has been filled not with the extremely old and the extremely vulnerable, but with others, many, many others, who are often young or in the prime of their lives. You might want to ascribe the excess deaths in 2022 and 2023 to the virus, but that would be a mistake. That's not what their death certificates say. And moreover, there are far too many young people dying. Far from being below the recent rolling average, excess deaths in 2022 have been above, 6% above, in fact. In 2023, when one might expect deaths to finally fall below the average, the excess has also been 6% above. These numbers are higher in the younger age groups. No one with integrity can fail to be troubled by these figures. What actually is going on? And that's what we need this debate for today. It's a problem that affects us all. It affects every community in every constituency across the country. And I would like to thank all the honourable and right honourable members who've attended this debate today. And I think we need to thank the public for their interest, which has stirred the interest of colleagues. And I'm very encouraged by the turnout for today's debate, which is considerably better than we've seen in the past. Not everyone in this room will be comfortable with analysing scientific data and figures. That is not my position. I was fortunate enough to take a degree from Nottingham University in biological sciences many years ago, and I specialised in biochemistry, genetics, behaviour, and virology. I'll give one that. Yeah.
It's a very important debate he's having. In 2022, we saw nearly as many excess.
Good morning, everybody. Ham will be on in 10 minutes, I guess. Hey, Nan Zadok. While I have you, I apologize again for losing my cool the other day. We're all in this, we're all in this fight. It gets draining on all of us, but I should be able to maintain a higher standard. Gout in my, if you can see it, it's a little bit swollen there. I have gout in my wrist. I don't know what, I don't really want to start off on a negative, but the biggest thing keeps coming back at me is GTII. And I did a video on it yesterday as trying to describe one thing that one could do. But there's always risk in making a tax loss trade, but at least it's feeling like you do something. My own view on GTII is that I believe there's a large short position. I think it's been under attack by the criminals. And I think the company did everything it could do. Ham reminded me this morning, they even issued a Picasso. That's the one I always forget. They tried everything to try to cause the system to buy back the shares. And I think finally the management's just worn out. And somebody asked me the question, I happened to see, so GTII's dead? What WTF happened? Well, it happened slowly and it took 2 years. It's hard to, it's not like it's, if you went away to, a far off locale and didn't look at your account, and it's been painful. And I lost money and I lost opportunity, all of that. I mean, I'm going through it with you as it relates to all of these stocks. My most painful loss was CRTD, but GTII is right behind it. And you look back and you say, well, why didn't we see it? I left the chart over there from when I did it, the video yesterday. But, it was 100x move from 9 cents to $9. For me, I thought, wow, this is kicking in. And it didn't. And I have my own view. Others say it's an insult to the dead to have my view. I don't see it that way. I just think it's what happened. It's just what happened. I don't mean to insult anybody. And good on them. It's a battle out there. And one company got financed while the rest are still struggling. But it didn't help the shareholders any for the other company. So where are we now? Like with any stock, you can buy more, which is one strategy. You can sell it, which is one strategy. You can hold it, or you can do a variety of those things. I think there's better short-term plays to try to make money, because that's the ultimate goal, is to make money. But as soon as you get out of something, that's my experience, that's when it runs. Things can change overnight. All it takes is a new vision, a new drive, a new group, a new direction, a new commitment. And GTII could be up 30 cents. But realistically, I think David Reichman does not want to give up control of his baby. The business model, which is, I was looking at the company that, sold the shell, but got out of it. That was recruiter.com. It's not trading under that name anymore. But I looked at their website, and the way they describe their services are very similar to what GTI either is or could be. You look at even DBMM. Some of their services, not all of them, but some of it is what GTII offered all these companies. But where are the companies? Where are the deals? I'm just not sure that anything's going to get done. And I'll try to get Richard Hoffman on a live with me, and maybe a couple of other people, get his, because he knows, I don't. But it looks like it's going to go into a legal battle, legal morass, probably some sort of shareholder action. And to me, if you're talking about trading a stock, that means there's no trade there. If you're talking about accumulating a stock, buying it while no one's looking, buying while it's low, because at some point in the future, it's going to kick ass, that's not a bad strategy. So I guess to whomever left that comment, I think GTII is dead money right now, but it could have wide swings. It could have out of the blue good news like Alpine goes down and there's a buy-in, or Congress actually gave a squat. But realistically, I think there's other stocks that are going to go up first. And you can take profits there and accumulate GTII. To me, the trade of GTII, the momentum, the build, the squeeze, the infusions of money, that trade's over. And now it's time to set up the next trade for GTII. It's going to take time. All right, here we go. All right, you're live.
Hold on, I'm just telling everybody, wake up, you lazy bastards. Join
You're
us.
early. Don't get mad at him. You're 2 minutes early.
All right, so I'll start out with a quick pickleball story. I played yesterday with 3 young guys, about 25, 26 years old, and I really don't know the rating systems, how you tell who's top and who's bottom. And
What are you talking about? Are you talking about
But there's a rating system.
making love
for
or
players.
pickleball?
Oh, pickleball. Not love. Pickleball. They give you a rating system, and I'm really not versed on what the highest level is. And I believe that 5.0, 6.0 is like the top game. The pros, the 6.0. Anyway, this group of guys asked me to join in, and they were all 5.0 players, which I believe are very, very strong players. They asked me what I was. I said I was a 1.0, and they laughed, and I joined in. Anyway, I played with them. It's like going from the minor leagues to the major leagues and trying to get used to the speed and everything real quick.
Oh, really?
And it was, I did adjust, and I won 1 game, lost 2, but I hung with them. And I told 2 of them, I said, I'm holding in 2 of you together, I said, and I hung with them. And today I played this morning, and I went back to the minor leagues, and it's an awful game when you're not at your level. It's not fun anymore.
So you're not at the level of the young guys.
No, I stood with them. I'd rather play with those guys. I didn't get tired. I didn't get winded. I hit with them, and it was great. But
that's great.
Going up and down is not fun, because when you play down to the competition. When you play up, I play up towards the competition, so you play better. So it happens in all sports, and everybody always wants to play with people better. So do I. And I just thought it was definitely a shooting gallery. I got hit a couple of times myself. I hit them, they hit me. So it's a pretty crazy game at a high level. Anyway, I just want to give you a good feeling, you GTII people. It's when you least expect it, good things happen. So cross your fingers. I think our fearless leader is going to take a left and disappear. Let's see what happens. All right. That's all I can say on it. That's what?
I said, there you go. I opened by telling everybody that GTII, if you have an unexpected good news, it's game on again. So.
Well, I think that from what I'm hearing is that it's close to his reign as the king of the kingdom is over, and let's see what happens.
That's good news. That's good news.
It's great news. I heard it before, and let's see if it's true. But we'll know in the next couple of days. And listen, there's 500 million shares short. Who knows where it's at now? It's huge. And if the leader leaves and returns all the shares that these extra shares that are out there, I think we're in for a good time.
I think that'll be great. Yeah.
He needs to go. That's it. We all know it.
He
That's
needs
it.
to
We
go.
can't do anything. No one wants to put their company in. Listen, no one wants their grandfather, people between 80 and 90 years old, getting up every day, working 10, 12 hours a day. It just doesn't happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
I wouldn't do it to my grandfather. You wouldn't do it to yours.
Just start a
and,
new company.
This idiot has to leave, and that's just how it has to be. William has the best line. He aged out. Is that your term? I forget what it is.
That's
Is
what
that
it is. He aged out.
Right. So again, we hung in there, and hopefully everything will turn here, and we'll be okay. All right. So I can't guarantee it, but he looks like we got some movement on that front. So hopefully the powers that be that are fighting for us, and those idiots who keep saying we gave up, we can't do anything unless the management leads us, to the promised land. Right. So again, that's number one. Number two, this is the final battle. Okay, for GTII, for Finger, for MMT, all of us, GameStop, AMC, or everybody involved in this game. All right. If Devin Nunes and President Trump do not spank and change this game and lock up these criminals, everybody's stock is going to zero. If you need money to build a company, you're going to zero. FingerMotion is the only company that I know that's been under attack, that's in the right direction, doesn't need funding, and has business growing. It's not the biggest, but it could be the biggest, and it doesn't need the funds. GameStop always needs money. AMC always needs money. All these companies need money. All right, it takes money to grow a business. And the equity market, the only way the company raises money is by issuing shares. And if they know you need money and you're going to issue shares, they're not going away. So FingerMotion can survive no matter what nuclear storm we have here, it's going to survive. If we force the issue, Devin Nunes, comes in, has the congressional hearing, you can see the videos. I have nothing to do with this guy, the way he's speaking. My friends are speaking to him. So again, but this guy is taking it. He's leaving no stone unturned. He knows how to investigate. These guys got people in the powerful places. And again, I believe Jim Jordan is going to lead the charge. Okay. And I think we'll be okay with that. That's it. That's what I can say on that front. I'm excited about the upcoming week. I'm excited at what I just heard about GTII. Hope it's true. And he does step down and management changes and we get new blood in here. I vote William to be the CEO of the company. So William, you're going to be the CEO. That's my vote.
All right.
Of course, we're going to make you do it from Anchorage, Alaska, but that's so different.
That means you're going to be my boss.
No, I'm not. I'm retiring. I'm done. You got the energy. I don't have the energy all day anymore. Anyway, so
You would if you didn't play pickleball for 6 hours.
I know. I'm dying to go back out and play. Anyway, so things I couldn't be more positive.
That's like breaking news. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think it is breaking news. Let's see what happens. It's not over till it's over, right? So let's wait till it to happen. And I think that's great news on the small one. FingerMotion, I'm not concerned about. FingerMotion, to me, you can make up your own decisions, is a steady, long-term bet without any problems. With the short position in here, you got gold. It's two different things. I feel comfortable. It's got some, benchmark put out a report a year ago saying it's a minimum of $5. We're at 375. Well, get it over 5, and then that's where it belongs anyway, north of 5, just based on the report. I think it belongs north of 30, going to 40, going to 100. Because this company has tremendous opportunities and is a growth company that's growing. All right, it's not a mature business. It's just starting. All right, you can't, look at DJT. They have 300 million in the bank, and they're starting a streaming app. Well, they got 300 million. Why didn't they start it yesterday? Because you have to hire people, you have to rent offices, you have to do this, you have to get a whole organization. It doesn't happen in an hour. And that's what people have to understand. So companies need time to grow. ROOT was an IPO. It was an $8 billion IPO. The whole company's now worth what? Not even 1 billion. So Wall Street brought it public, screwed everybody, shorted it down, destroyed it. And now the company's fundamentals are now catching up and starting to turn. It's taken 3 years. Why did they bring it public at such a high valuation when it's taken 3 years to grow? Right? So that's Wall Street's way of, they overpriced it, slaughtered everybody, and didn't give a shit. And now they're going to sit there and say, yeah, everything's okay now. Meanwhile, they destroyed everybody. All right? DJT needs time to grow. FingerMotion is getting contracts to drive revenue and spending no money to get those contracts. The only thing wrong with FingerMotion, in my eyes, is Lynn Partners and their scumbag friends. That's all I see going on here. Someone put up a picture of a monster alligator. It says, feed the fucking fat bastard to that alligator. I mean, these are disgrace. I see pictures of children with cancer, children that can't see. These guys destroy companies that help people and have no mercy, couldn't care less. And I don't own any of these companies. I just watched it happen. I can't believe that they go through life and couldn't give a rat's ass about it. The Kramers, I got it. They're just street thugs. They're lending out $200,000 trying to steal whatever they can. I got it. The Kramers, for those who don't understand, the Kramers, their prime broker, the whole organization is criminal. How did the SEC, the DOJ, and the NSPC, everyone allow Alpine to be in business all this time unchecked? They've been robbing, and they're running interference for the criminals, like the Kramers. I guarantee you, when this is all said and done, they were stealing $1. Alpine got 60% of it, and the Kramers got 40%. That's how they worked it, because Alpine is the reason that they exist. The Kramers couldn't run this scam unless they had backing by their prime broker. There's no way. And if I'm the prime broker, I'm doing it. I'm running the interference. You got the stupid deal. Get out in the street and get the deals, right? But like a pimp on the street, he's taking 60, 70% of the money. Maybe more, who knows? And that's why that position has been, left in GTI by Alpine and got caught with it. They're obviously working together. And the woman from DBMM was the one I give credit to. She told us that Alpine was their prime broker. GTI stock exploded. What happens? The prime broker was committing more fraud. That's how they knocked it back down. William was right. This stock was squeezing. Alpine, and I always said it, there has to be a red light going off somewhere at the DTC because someone has a margin problem and no one's looking.
And Alpine took over the position. At least that's the theory.
And the red light was going on, just like I said. But they didn't, the DTC let it go on. Look how long it's taken to shut these guys down. 2 years now. 2 years. I mean, just think of the disgrace. And think of the prime brokers. If Alpine's doing it, the other guys are doing it. That's how crazy it is. But again, I hope that the management does the right thing and disappears and returns all the shares that they've given themselves and get out of here.
This is the best news we heard today.
Mm-hmm.
This is
and I heard it
an act of God.
17 minutes ago, I heard it.
17 minutes ago. Hey,
So we've been
something
on-
to
wait a
celebrate.
second, we've been on 10 minutes, so make it like 18 minutes. I'm sorry. So I'm happy, you know, I don't have to have my cousin cursing me out 24 hours a day. For those of you who think that, you know, I don't have family members in it, they yell at me just like you guys yell at me. And I don't appreciate people that don't even know me to yell at me. I've been working hard for many years trying to expose this crime. And don't get me wrong, I'm doing it for my own benefit. But if I can't benefit, no one can benefit. My kids, no one's going to win. So my own selfish is that I was doing it for myself in the beginning, but now I'm here to help everybody. Many years ago, this was not just 2 weeks ago, I decided this. I'm talking about 16, 17 years ago. I helped fight with Patrick Byrne. I didn't own any overstock. I lost my money. All right, it went from 30 to 3. For those of you, I had, I don't know, 60, $70,000 worth of options when the stock was 30. It went to 3. I got wiped out. I didn't lose. I got crushed. I had no one to cry to. I didn't go anywhere crying. No one sent me any flowers and say, hey, too bad, you stupid bastard. No one said anything. I had to dig myself out of the hole. The stock then, I had to sit there and watch it go from 3 to 125 after I lost. I just timed it wrong. I was wrong. Morgan Stanley and I forget who it was, Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan called the SEC to slow down the short squeeze. And they, you know, there was information about that. And they drove it down because they were trying to cover. And I got caught in the middle of that. And I was right, but I lost because because the timing wasn't right. How do you think I felt? No one called me up and said, hey, sorry about that. No one cared. So grow up, people. No one cares about your finances. You got to figure it out for yourself because no one helped me at all.
I think that's great advice. I think I was thinking about, because I got upset the other day. I think that's the number one thing I'm trying to get across is we cannot be victims. We have to fight and face the facts each day. Yesterday's gone, and you just have to go forward.
William, you don't hit my buttons to buy or sell a stock. I don't hit yours. I don't hit my cousins. I can only describe it, you know, and say, okay, this is what I believe. This is what I think is going to happen based on what I see.
Yeah.
And what I see now is a gift from God. I don't care who.
There's about 100 people just joined on my end. I don't know on yours. And a couple people are asking, what's the news? Maybe you can repeat it about what you just heard for GTII. Maybe.
All right, so
I've heard it before too.
I played pickleball with a group of people that were 5.0 level. That's pretty high up. Is that what you want me to discuss? That?
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you said.
That's all. That's what I wanted you to repeat.
That's all that matters to me.
That's what I wanted you to repeat.
So I played up at a top level competition at the highest level, and I was able to stay with all the 25-year-old guys together, and I did very well. Is that what you wanted me to discuss?
Yeah, that's what I wanted you to discuss.
Or that I'm gonna have.
That's why Mark jumped out of the shower just to hear how your pickleball went.
He slipped on the floor. He's laying around, sliding around. I'm hearing that the old man is getting ready to toss in the towel. So let's see what happens. You know, on GTII. You know, and if he tosses in the towel, we can have a whole new management, new companies that can join in, and we can all participate and hopefully ever get your money back, make profits, whatever it may be. And we got a chance at life. Let's see if he does what he's supposed to do. And I heard that 19 minutes ago now.
I have to warn you guys. I've heard this kind of thing before, so let's hold our breath. But this is great if it happens. Absolutely great.
Well, William, I am not making it up.
I know you're not. I'm not.
I'm hearing it from the highest level of the front line of this fight. So
all right.
Take it with a grain of salt. I'm with you.
Well, now the only thing is this guy changes his mind. It's hard to let go. it's very hard to let go. So anyway, we in our own way, particularly for me, I think I've turned up the heat a little bit recently. So in my statements, you've turned up the heat. Richard has turned up the heat, and I'm sure investors have. So this is great news.
Well, Richard has been nothing. Richard, it's not legal advice, has been nothing but a gift. And we should all be thanking him.
Yeah.
Because he has done everything in his power to save the day in here. And he's assisted people with millions and millions and millions and many millions of shares to try to get this done, to save their ass and ours.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, Richard has been a leader. I couldn't do it. I'm not an attorney, excuse me. And Richard is a great man for doing what he's done. He's put a lot of hours and a lot of time. He is an investor, so he's doing it to help himself, but he's done it to help everyone here. So for those idiots who accuse him of being a short seller, he was just trying to help us get to where we potentially could be in the driver's seat this week. So let's hope everything goes according to plan and we move this boulder down the road and get back into the game. He can move fundamentals in. William could be our CEO. That's my plan anyway. And I think that will be off to the races. FingerMotion, I told you about it. FingerMotion is a company that is going towards from a startup. It's in the early stages. They're going to be becoming a mature company. It's off to the races. There is nothing the criminals can do to stop what these guys got going on. They can't call China and tell them don't give them business. They can write all the fake stories they want. They have representation with Mark Bazile watching for those criminals again. We're waiting for Capybara to be sanctioned by the judge, which then can be moved up to a criminal charge against, what's that guy's name? I forgot his stupid name.
Crappy Bear? Yeah, Israel or something? No, not Israel. Izzy? Igor.
From Young Frankenstein. But I told you he went to the court jumping around in a tuxedo with his glasses on, grabbing the microphone, screaming like an idiot. And the judge's chamber told Mark Bazile's people that get us the paperwork and we'll end this already for you. So his time is coming to an end. So the short and distort crowd is running out of steam. And so, the GTI story, it needs some sort of fundamentals to put a floor on the stock and turn it up again. If that happens, we can talk about it all the time because it does have fundamentals and we can attach it to the short. We all know it has a short. The proof is right there. We put the truck in front of the SEC 13 times for the people on this phone call who had nothing to do with it and have the balls to say that we gave up on it. You're an asshole. And you know who you are because there's been some people who have been saying that. You're an asshole for even saying that. Well, you were sitting around buying the stock, hopefully making money. We were breaking our ass, all right, exposing ourselves to help everybody.
And
there's this problem.
There's also a couple of guys that have been working their butt off for months on Fronto / whatever.
Yeah,
but
great people. I've sat with them many times.
Yeah,
great people. They want to do everything. They want to. Yeah, someone just told me to say "fuck the week." If I got it, listen. I told you when I got blown out, no one said anything to me. I took it like a man. I was upset, sick about it. I had to watch it go to 130, but no one gave a shit. All right, so I could have folded. I could have quit, but I got back on the saddle. I did odd jobs. I'm going back 10, 12 years now. Okay, I told you I drove someone to Atlantic City every night. 7 days a week for 2 years. He couldn't drive at night, and I drove him. His wife passed away. I drove him every day. I left at my house at 3:30, and I drove him, 2 hours to Atlantic City so he could play dice. And I was making every day 500, 700 a day doing this. I was a good gambler, thank God. And that's how I turned my life around. All right, and that's what I did. I sat there like an idiot and watched the guy play dice, and when he hit, you throw me $1,000, $700, and you know what? I did it every day, and added up, it was a lot of money, and that's what turned it around for me. But I didn't cry. I didn't sit on the couch crying. I went out and did whatever I could to make it work. I remember one time when I was driving so much, every light on my Honda was on, every light. And the guy gets in the car, he goes, "What's all those lights?" Is that? It's just idiot lights. I'm like, oh my God, every light in the car's on. And I always told him, I always felt like my tires had no more, they were so worn out. They were like balloons. We were driving on balloons with every light going off. But that's what I did to survive. That was many years ago, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago. But again, I don't want to get into my miserable existence, but again, I felt that we needed to do this, and we now
Neither
have
do we.
but now we really have a real
Just
leader,
kidding.
Devin Nunes, who has the pedigree. He's from DC. He was on the Intelligence Committee, and we have the most powerful man in the world, who's going to be the next president, Donald Trump, standing up for us. If you don't give a shit about Donald Trump, I don't give two flying shits. This is about my family, my children, and my grandchildren. All right? This is about our financial future. If I can't go out there and start a business, I can make money in the equity markets. And if my investment in a company can help drive them to be a better company, that's what it's about. And that's what makes returns for my family so our lives can be better. And stop with the political nonsense. This guy is standing up for us. I've been doing this 24 years. No one stood up for us. I had no one in DC. Me and William were running around knocking on doors with Honor and those other people from MMTLP. Everybody's been trying. So again, I hope it all works out for everybody. I'm excited for the week. I call it the final battle, because if Devin Nunes and Donald Trump can't get this done, then we're done. We're all well done. Run for the hills. So I look at it. I think it's 99% we're going to win, 1% we're going to lose, but there's always that 1% chance. But I don't believe it. I believe, what's his name, Rogers? Is that his name, Rogers? Jim Jordan, sorry. Jim Jordan is going to be a powerful player in this thing, and that's what I'm hearing. So it's all coming to a head. Just anyone watch the Devin Nunes, the last thing, he said it's almost 1 million a day that's counterfeited. 1 million
In
a day,
DJT.
5 million a week.
In
That's 1
DJT.
million a day, 5 million a week, 20 million a month. 20 million a month. We said it's 700 million shares. So imagine the days that he doesn't have data on. So imagine if it was 3 million a day, 4 million shares a day, when it's trading 20 million shares a day. 4 million is 20 a week, 80 a month. It goes up fast, people. Those numbers. See, now the question is, there's so much volume. Are they trading back and forth, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, I don't know what the number is. All right, so the data is showing him it's 1 million. In FingerMotion, they don't buy back anything, because you can see that there's no sales. No one's hitting a bid. If they were hitting the bids, you could sit there and say, okay, people are buying it, people are selling it. There's no selling. There's been some selling, but I know buyers. I told you, I know of 3 big hedge funds that buy every day, and they just keep accumulating it. And what did I tell you? Accumulation leads to higher prices, and the stock is slowly grinding up, right? We all want to have that run. Oh, it's $3, $4, $5. I want it too. But the more they keep playing that game and the accumulation keeps moving it up, it's going to go higher. It's going to go higher because they keep selling it. The more they sell, the higher it goes. We do not want, for the 1,000th time, they need volatility. We just need to walk up slowly, 1 penny at a time, 2 pennies, 8 pennies, whatever it may be. That's the way you get the biggest home run swings. When a stock spikes $10, we all look at each other, should we sell some? You know what? Some people do sell some. You can't stop it. But when you go up slowly, you get more confident. Everybody gets more confident because guess what? If you bought it at 3 and it's now 4, and you say, okay, it spikes to 6, you're going to say, you know what, didn't even move yet. But if it spikes to 10 and pulls back, then you start thinking of selling. But them holding it down, the floor is going to be soon, like say 6 or 7, like William said, or maybe 8 to 10. And the short squeeze starts at that level. Think of that. Think of the short squeeze starting at $12 or $13.
10x
Right.
is 120 from 12. I
Mhm.
thought I'd add that in.
Yeah. But that's the best part. Accumulation is deadly. All right. They want volatility. They want it to spike up, drop fast, spike up, drop fast. And that's how they scare people out. Slow accumulation, and they get roasted alive. I know we all want to see it yesterday. I got it. I'm with you. You know, just go tomorrow because I want to go do something else. Well, you know what? I'll wait it out because I know I'll make much more here than go chasing my tail around stocks I know nothing about. And I was the biggest chasers of stocks that I knew nothing about than anybody. I didn't know who the CEO was. I didn't know anything about the company. I don't even know what half of them do. Now I study it and I'm saying to myself, hey, I'm going to make something that's going to be life-changing. I'm not looking to make 50 cents or 10,000 a day. If I sit back and let it work, imagine selling FingerMotion at $1,200 a share, you know, and having 300,000 shares. Think of that. That's life-changing. That's no more. All right, that's what I'm looking to happen here. Anyway, go ahead, William. Any questions?
No, let me look. I added what I wanted to. Some
Mhm.
brilliant arithmetic.
I was looking at my friend's daughter just graduated from University of Michigan, and brilliant kid. You know, speaks multiple languages. Just brilliant. She went to I think it's the Ross Business School of Michigan. She's brilliant, and they had those
Wilbur
Palestinian
Ross,
idiots.
that guy from
I don't know if
the
it's
RJR
I don't know. It's a business school at Michigan. It's supposed to be, you know, very good school. But she graduated, and I see that the Palestinian idiots were there. They need to listen. This is our country. We don't go there. I don't go with the Italian flag, start running into everybody and saying, you know, it's Italian Day and start making noise. We don't do that. You got a problem? Don't drag everybody else into your mess. Anyway, I just saw something.
Stephen
Okay, I'm
M.
sorry.
Ross. Stephen M. Ross. There's a couple questions. One is if you're hearing anything about the congressional hearings, are they open? When do they go?
I don't know. Today is Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday, so I will not hear anything till I guess Monday. People don't call me until Monday.
Okay, that was one. And then there's several questions about those couple of stocks, one you own and one that begins with
They will go. That is a very wealthy friend of mine who I trust and believe. And if he told me to buy it, when he told me to buy it, I bought GDC. He owned over 1 million shares of that. So I put GDC. The next thing I heard was ZJYL, and it was $250. I knew I didn't have the money to buy it. I told everybody that. And you know, that one's going to go first, and GDC will follow it. So if you see ZJYL go, you can buy GDC. That's all I know. I'm hoping that FingerMotion explodes like tomorrow. You know, goes to $20. I can sell a couple of thousand shares, and I can go buy 30,000 of the other one, GDC, at 80 cents, wherever it is, and have a monster position. That's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah.
That's about it. I can't buy ZJYL because I don't have enough money to play them all. Nobody can play all these different stocks. If you are one of those people that like to have a portfolio, then then jump in whatever one you want. I can't tell you. I don't like to do that. I like to, if I miss it and ZJYL goes, I know GDC is going to go. So why would I chase that one? I'll just stick with this one. The risk is at a GDC, as far as I can see. You know, they knocked it down from 4 to 80 cents. So I look at the risk is out of there. So, you know, it won't be a high flyer till the other one goes, but it won't be a lot more risk at this point. So.
Looking up Stephen M. Ross,
No, don't worry about that.
chairman
I'm
of
just
the
saying.
Related Companies, a global real estate development firm. Wow.
Hey, listen, I believe the police should arrest anyone who's protesting on these school campuses. Take them to the police department and bring them to their parents, these kids that think they're doing something, and say, hey, if your parents don't pay the $50,000 fine, you're going to jail for a year. End the conversation. Watch how fast the cities will raise money and the crime will stop. And the protests will stop immediately. End the conversation. Those who don't come up with the money, throw them in jail. That's it. They're destroying property, ruining people's lives, blocking roads. All this nonsense has to end. Someone's got to step up. I don't even know who's running this place, this country, but it's out of control.
It's
Okay.
Jolton Joe.
No, I call him Diaper Joe. So it's a picket Jolton, though. It's Diaper Joe. Listen, there's no way that guy's running this place. Someone's calling the shots. And you know what? I'm sick of it. Financially, we need to get this over. We don't need that idiot at all. We have, Devin Nunes, President Trump, and we're going to have Jim Jordan. That's all we need. And we win. And you're going to win, and it's going to change your life. So find out whatever stock, or maybe GameStop. I ran 3 points the other day. Listen, Ryan Cohen is a bigger scumbag than the shorts. He's here to do one thing, that guy. Squeeze the shorts and make money. He's the opposite. I'm on the side because he's headhunting for money. That's what he's about. He's a good guy on our side, but he only cares about squeezing and making money for himself. And you saw what he did in Bed Bath & Beyond. He dumped all his stock at 32, and all the people that were following him got screwed, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, so it shows you he's here to make money. He wasn't here to save Bed Bath & Beyond. He was here to squeeze it, make money, and move along. So he made himself another couple of $100 million, and investors got stuck holding the bag.
Hey, not legal advice. Is that true? I didn't hear that. Is that true? What Nicole says? Nicole is saying now that Alpine is shut down. I'm not sure it is shut down yet, but maybe.
Listen, Richard and not legal advice. We discussed this many times. Who's paying their legal bills, and why are they paying legal bills just to bury the dead? What are they doing? No one spends millions of dollars fighting the government on all different fronts for a dead business that's not even in business, right?
Yeah.
They're doing it. Obviously, they're doing something else, trying to hide something. And that's what's going on in Alpine. Listen, I stand by it. There's not one company that has their symbol attached to there's a big short, a criminal short in their stock. Not one. There's not one. MMTLP stopped trading, and they can't get anybody to say that there's a short in the stock. Why did they stop trading it? They make a mistake? No one says anything about it. We got the government telling everybody in GTII that Alpine has a concentrated short position. People, I don't know about you, concentrated on Wall Street means huge, very large. That's what that means on Wall Street. They're used to big numbers. Just look at the fines on the toxic lenders. I think Not Legal Advice posted something the other day about some new guy that was caught. He had billions of shares, billions. We're just saying 500 million. Imagine they're saying billions of shares these guys have sold.
Amazing.
Right? Billions, not millions, billions.
Amazing.
Anything else? Everybody?
There's people are saying
Listen,
hi.
we don't need
Thank
to be.
you.
We don't need the happy stuff. If you have a question, ask. You know, we're all on the same page. We want it to work. We don't control
Do
it.
you think now that we've talked about GTII today, the shorts will be out in force tomorrow?
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. We'll get them anyway. It
They're
doesn't.
not, listen, the shorts don't want to short it down here. They're washing trades back and forth. That's why the volume on the short interest has been low. These guys are going back and forth. There's nobody selling.
Yeah.
There's a few people that dumped it. I mean, that's part of life. That's what happens. But let's see the activity first. Let's see the management leave. We want to see them disappear. That's the most important thing. They disappear. There's people with real companies that want to work, 40-year-old guys, 35-year-old guys, 50-year-old guys that want to make money and want to make things happen. They want to be corporate leaders. They want to make things happen. 80 to 90-year-old men are not the place to be. That's just a fact. You know, I look at my grandfather, he's sitting on the couch, you know, when I go to, with his head down, right, at 84. These guys, one of them is 87. Where are they going? You think he's getting up, going to get in his car, drive to meetings, go see what's going on? Let's go learn about new technology. Sure, they don't want to do anything. And I don't blame them. They're 87 years old. You know, you can only do so much. And for people that said, you know, GTII, and don't get me wrong, the management has given up. It's obvious. But they tried to give out a piece of a Picasso. They listened to every crazy idea that was passed up the food chain here to them. They tried to give out that crypto coin. The SEC blocked it. The SEC blocked this. The SEC, they knew that what we were doing, and the company tried to do it. But time has passed and they need to move along. And the damage they've done to themselves has to be reversed and kick them to the curb. They do that, we're off to the races. And nothing's changed. I just can't control it. If the company doesn't want to fight with us, what am I going to do? I can't control it. Right? For you guys out there, if your wife wants to have an affair, what are you supposed to say? She's going to do it, right? You can't do anything about it. I can't stop it. I don't know how to say it in any language you want to hear it. That's it.
Um,
And KYP, you better come back to New York. I'm going to play with 5.0 now. I'm going to give you a bunch of tattoos.
she says here she's not scared of you. She's not as scared.
Listen, KYP, I was shitting my pants yesterday with these young guys until I got into the firefight. Then I felt comfortable. That's how it goes. It's like going on the pitcher's mound, William. I was a AAA player. Now I got to go pitch in the major leagues. It's, you know, it's a little nerve wracking. You know, I don't want these kids looking down at me saying, you old piece of shit. But then I started whacking with them. I said, okay, let's go. I'm toe to toe.
If they live long enough, it'll happen to them too.
That's what you said, William, right?
Yeah.
Time always wins out, right? And
Or
my friend
does
Chicken
it?
Chow Mein is here. I see him. He's on board. Chicken Chow Mein, wake up. Don't be a lazy bastard.
So apparently Devon News just put a post. I thought it was on Twitter. It's not, about the counterfeit share volume in DJT. I don't know
It's
where
all
to
over the
find
place.
it, but
It's all over Twitter. It's a video. It's all over.
it's all over. Okay.
He said he's getting the data. 700 to a million, 700 million to 700,000 to a million shares per day for the last 2 weeks. So let's say it's 1 million shares. I'm just going to round it up, 1 million a day, 2 weeks, right? So that's 5 million a week. That's 10 million shares right there in 2 weeks.
It's amazing.
In FingerMotion, it's not as big as them, but we've been steady Eddie for years now. Just think about it. 100,000 a day is 500 a week is 2 million a month. It's 24 million a year. Just keep doubling, to 300, 200, 300,000. We've had days when it's been, 1 million shares a day. Those numbers add up quick. My friend said it was 240. I've been conservative saying 220. You know what? I'm making it 2.25 now. Slowly keep grinding up. They want to keep playing, just keep grinding up and exposing it. Prove us wrong. If the SEC said we were making stuff up, why don't they come and shut us down and show us what's going on? They can't, because they know we're right. And it's a disgrace that they allowed this to go on for this long. I didn't design this, they did. And that guy, Ken Griffin, has got $45 billion in his pocket. In his pocket. How could he even stand there and do this one more day? Take the $45 billion like the Kramers or Alpine, run away. Lynn Partners, they're trying to squeeze more money out. What are they trying to do? Make the richest guy in Australia more richer? What are they trying to do? Remember, it's bail before jail, so you better not fail. Who wants to go to jail over this thing? Madoff, Sam Bankman-Friedman, 25 years. 25 years in a jail cell. Even if he does 10 or 15. I don't know how old he is. Was he 35, 40? I don't know how old that kid is. I don't know how old he is. 35 years? He's not going to get out till he's 50? You have one life. All the money in the world means nothing. Think about that.
It's a good point.
You know, listen, if they're going to put me on a pickleball team, I'm in. And give me money, give me the 45 billion. And I'll do 2 years for you. What are you, crazy? These guys are nuts. They got 45 billion. He's got top of the world. And he's going to sit here and try to fight Devin Nunes and President Trump? Are you insane? There's not one person that would do that. I told you what I do. I fake a heart attack, have him carry me out in a stretcher, and have a doctor give me a fake report and say he's not healthy, he needs to retire. See you later. Keep the 45 billion. Get on $100 billion yacht and get the hell out of here. Whatever the money is. Someone said it's greed. I don't understand it.
No, it's
You
a
can only eat
sickness.
the same three. You can only eat 3 meals a day, right?
It's a sickness.
How much can you do?
Can't take it with you.
That's
One
how I
guy
look at
keeps
it.
asking if you knew Sammy the Bull. It's not a question to get you in trouble with. Are you there?
Let's say I've seen him a lot. Let's say
You
that.
saw him a lot. Okay. He's 32. Sam Bankman fraud.
So think about that.
Well, he had a
32.
relatively
He's gonna
good
come out- he's gonna
31
come out when
years.
It's 25 years they have him in jail for. If he does 15, he's coming out at 50.
That sounds
50.
great. 50 sounds great.
Yeah, 50 years old, coming out of jail. 15 years in a cell, hanging out all day. Think about that. Think how crazy that is.
Something about the CAT system, but I don't really understand the question. CAT system. Oh, I got it. Retail demands the implementation of CAT system for transparency.
Now, listen, whoever said that is wrong. They want to block it because they don't want to expose when you buy 1,000 shares. They don't want the government to know you bought 1,000 shares of stock. They're being nice guys. They don't want you to see that.
Oh, they're for our privacy or privacy. I got you.
They want to make sure now they're defending us. They're robbing us, but they don't want anybody to see what they're doing. And they're throwing us in with them. And we're all saying, fuck you. We don't give a shit. Who gives a shit if I buy 5,000 shares of stock? You think I care? I don't care who sees it. Why is Ken Griffin, Virtue, and all the others, James Street, all these other people want to hide? You can't. We want to protect you. Don't let the government bully you around. Can you believe the audacity of these guys? They should get another 5 years in jail for writing that stupid letter, trying to sue the government over that. That alone, they should put them in jail for.
This is a persistent question, and it shows a complete lack of getting it, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. But I'll ask it. It's been asked like 10 times. How do they recover counterfeit shares? Are you there? Are you there?
I'm lost for words.
I know. I'm in a state of shock.
I think what they're trying to
And
say.
has what have we teach you?
No, I think what they're trying to say, and I'll try to put it in.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
I think you are. I think what they're trying to say is, okay, Fidelity has to buy back the counterfeit shares they sold. I'm just saying Fidelity, right? I think that's what they're saying. How do they buy them back? Well, they buy whatever shares they have to close up the shares that they sold. So if they sold 1 million and they buy back 1 million, they will be buying back whatever it is, and it closes out the transaction, and the float goes back to the normal. The float is reduced.
So are they buying back counterfeit shares or real shares, or there's no way to know?
What they're doing is reclosing their position and reducing 1 million shares out of the float.
Right.
It could be a real share. It doesn't have to be a real share. It doesn't mean counterfeit.
When
share.
you're closing positions, could it be counterfeit versus counterfeit? I guess so, right?
Yes, but they're buying it back from us. I can own the counterfeit shares. If they buy my shares back, they're closing out the position. If they buy yours, William, you have real shares in your account. They're buying yours. It's the same thing. You're reducing the float. FingerMotion's float is 25 million. And right now we believe the short's 225 million. 225 million has to disappear. It has to go back down to 25 million.
Right. But I guess he's updating his question. I guess what it is, do you have to buy back real shares, or do you buy counterfeit, or does it matter?
Listen, they just need to close out their positions. It has to go back to flat.
Okay. There's no way really to know what's on the other side of it.
It's going to go back. If it goes back to 25 million shares, that means there's no more counterfeit shares in the system, right?
Right. If it's reconciled, I guess.
That's all it is, right? If you reconcile it, it goes back to flat.
And Jana says there's a vote on Tuesday for the CAT system.
That's why I was hearing that the other thing is going to happen on Monday. Maybe it comes out late Monday. I don't know. They want to make sure that that's what the race is on. These guys are trying to block the CAT system. We're trying to show the world that the system is broken and we need the CAT system. You see the fight now?
Yeah, but the CAT system's always been there. I guess it's.
No, they have no way to. They spent.
I remember the CAT, or I remember a CAT. That's what I remember.
A CAT is when you transfer.
Yeah, transfer. That's what I remember. Oh God, things change, but they stay the same.
It's the same. What are you talking about?
Human greed.
I'm like, what's changed? The only thing that's changed is that these guys have sold counterfeit shares. Christian Shaughnessy has put up. Banks have trillions of dollars of liability on their books. Trillions.
I just read an article. Ham, it's unbelievable.
The DTC's FTDs at the DTC, another weekly update. There now have been 2 trillion in Treasury settlement failures at the DTC in 2024.
Of course, they're doing it in all markets. These geniuses.
2.2 trillion.
It's just a number. Unbelievable. It's incredible. They've turned everything into a derivatives contract that they can bounce back and forth as they smoke their jetons and sip their
Go back
Chateau
and
de
look.
Châtelet.
For those not paying attention, if it's shitty in New York today, go watch The Big Short again. The Big Short.
I keep watching.
Excuse me?
I do. I'll watch it again.
I watch it all the time. Instead of whatever derivatives they were talking about, turn it into equities. It's the same thing. Go back. It's now it's equities. And at the end of the day, The guy from The Big Short walked away making $2.69 billion. It took a couple of years until it fell apart, but he made $2.69 billion, Michael Burry. I sent my naked shorting report on GameStop to Sitcon. I think it's Sitcon, whatever the hell it's called. I sent that report to him. I sent my reports to him about GameStop. And guess what he did? Go back and look. He bought GameStop. I sent it to everyone on the street.
So,
All right. So these guys want to make money. That's what they're about. So again, he knew he was right. I 1,000,000% know I'm right. The system is full of counterfeits.
of course.
And I called the Wall Street. I did exactly what he was doing, those guys in that movie. They went to the Wall Street Journal, tried to expose it. They went to the credit agencies. What's going on here? The auditors are all fraudulent. You know, the other day they put that story of DJT's auditor is shut down for fraud. There's 500 companies. Even GTII use that auditor.
That's
Think
like
about
the
that.
rating agencies, like you say. It's like that woman at that desk
Right.
in the movie.
Well, I didn't get a chance if I told you, a friend of mine, his cousin works for FINRA, 15 years or 16 years as an auditor. And my friend point blank said, what about the naked shorts? And he went, goes, listen, they pay our salaries. We look the other way. That's what he said.
Did he do it on a Veritas tape?
No, he did it at a wedding to my friend.
Too bad he wasn't wearing a little camera.
He asked his cousin, listen, people, this is what's going on in the whole government. People don't, the cops have, how does the cop go to work every day? And when you walk in and say, hey guys, if you see someone committing a crime, don't shoot them, don't beat them, look the other way. That's what's going on. Trinity goes to work every day, say, guys, and they could shorting, say, don't say anything, look the other way. SEC, look the other way. They're all saying the same thing. Eventually, this country, it's either we got to wake up or it's going to collapse. Look at Boeing. Every whistleblower so far has been shot and killed, or poisoned, or whatever they're doing to them. Boeing, it's either, if Boeing is a bad company, it needs to go to zero.
The one guy,
can't keep bailing
the
them out.
one guy was so set on killing himself, he left his room, went outside, went into his car to do it.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I'm just saying that, you know, eventually people have to start doing the right thing. People at FINRA, if you do work there, you got to speak up.
Somebody
Someone
does.
at the SEC, someone's got to speak up. They all know it exists. Gary Gensler's sitting there, he's just lying in front of everybody. How could you keep doing it? Eventually, you got to say, screw these guys. What, are you kidding me? Someone's got to say something. Pretty soon, a cop has got to sit there and say, I'm not going to go with my uniform onto the street, let people throw bottles at me, and I can't shoot back. Just take your gun out and shoot them. But if you shoot them, you go to jail. Why would you even bother? But there's, you know, all these policemen have to stand up and say enough. Someone's got to say something.
So
Walk out. Everybody walk out together. Let it turn into total chaos. I'm not going to do this anymore.
what do you think went wrong at Silicon Valley Bank and Republic Bank and the other one that just went down?
They're over leveraged. They all know what they did.
Yeah.
It's too much. Listen, you go to Las Vegas and you tell them you want to bet $1 million and they go, well, how much money you got in the bank? Oh, 20,000. They're not going to let you keep playing like that. These banks were letting people do that.
Well, David Stockman just put out an article that the Treasury over the last few years, how much the federal debt, you know the number, it's 35 trillion. More than 21 trillion of Treasury paper now has been refinanced in under 1 year bills. Under 1 year. 21 trillion. Do you see the problem? If rates go up, we are, and already interest expense has hit 1.1 trillion annualized out of our budget. Why wouldn't they stretch the debt out at low rates? They're idiots.
Well, there's people doing stuff that are idiots.
Idiots. It's all in your assumptions. Making that.
Like I said, listen, we need smart people in smart places. If you're a dummy or a criminal, they got to be taken out. That's it. I don't care what color you are, who you are. It doesn't make a difference. You have to do the right thing because it is affecting. You think you're making a lot of money. You can save your family, but down the road, your family is going to be hurt by it. That's just the way I look at it. And I don't want my kids, when I leave this planet, I don't want them sitting here and having to do what I had to do. And I'm not looking for any medals.
You don't
I'm
want
not
them
looking for
playing
anything.
pickleball?
Well, that they can do. I don't want them suffering. I don't want them to fight and worry about their careers, the companies where they're working for, making cuts. You know, my daughter's always worried, oh, they're going to cut us. They're going to laying off people. Over what? They did nothing wrong. The economy's, is starting to fall apart and no one says anything about it. The stock market's going up every day. Why do you think the stock market's going up every day, everyone? They're squeezing the shorts. The shorts are being called the buy-in stocks. That's why there's no more money. This is a short squeeze in the marketplace.
It's not more buyers than sellers?
Listen, again, they're squeezing the shorts. The leverage is coming. They're deleveraging. Why hasn't it trickled down to our stocks? It will. Our stocks are not, the big stocks have been naked shorted. We've been naked shorted with criminal intent. These guys are trying to drive companies to zeros. They're not driving NVIDIA to zero. They're allowed to keep naked shorting. When it turns against them, they all panic and covering.
That's a good point.
They're trying to drive the small companies like Root. Root, they had it on the ropes. It was an $8 billion IPO. They had it down to $1. The company had to reverse to 25 to 1. They got it back up to 25. They drove it back down again to 7 before it turned. Think about what they did. And just another thing, William, people talk about the options in FingerMotion. Oh, they robbed my money again. Look what they did to DJT. The stock was 55 the other day. They smashed it down to 43, bounced back up to 50, came out with the bullshit story on Friday and closed the stock at 48. The 48 calls, 48 and a half, 49, 49, 50s, 50s, 51, 50, all went to zero. The other day, those options, the 48s with the stock at 55, were probably $8 or $9.
So they just cleaned out all the premium.
They killed all the foot premium.
What do you think? Monday it'll be up 7?
It could open up 100. I don't know. I can't imagine anybody who short that stock standing there with balls, risking their whole business, the whole livelihood. Because when the music stops and the congressional hearing starts, they're going to want to see everyone who's short. Roll them in here. What are you doing, Virtue? What's your position? Oh, we're short 30 million shares. You know there's only 45 in the company? Yeah, but we don't give a shit. What are they going to say? You can't be short 90% of the company. Citadel, what are you short? Oh, 100 million. You're short twice as much as the company. Add these guys up. What are they going to say? They're all going to go to jail. I'm telling you, the minute they announce it, these things are going to explode. So I can't tell you how to play DJT because it's, the only way I would do it would be a buyer on the dip, sell the rips, because you never know what's happening here. But if they do announce it, it goes into that hearing. Everyone who's short, who's got a criminal short, will be exposed. Devin Nunes knows how to do an investigation, and he has very smart people behind him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Pat Byrne and his team is helping them also. So pay attention.
And Pat knows it all. Talk about smart people.
Pay attention. Pay attention. There's very smart people that understand. Pat Byrne has a network of people that helped him squeeze over stock to 130. It wasn't just Pat Byrne writing his blog. All right. There's very smart people there. So they know what they're doing. They got smart people there. And again, they win, we win. That's how it works. So keep up the fight. Spread the word. You don't have to buy a share. I don't really give a shit if you buy a share or not. pick a stock, go find your own game. If you want to follow us, God bless you, go get them. But again, pick your own poison. Is it GameStop? Is it AMC? Is it KOSS? It's like throwing a needle in a haystack. The one thing that, and what was that gentleman's name? George from Florida.
Donahue.
George,
Oh no.
yeah, George Donahue. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody just put it up. So it wasn't me. It was someone else remembered his last name. Donahue.
Yeah. A good guy. I think he's a
very good
guy or GameStop. I can't remember which one he is.
Both, I think. GME.
Right. So listen, get back out there and pound the tables. Wake up that investor base. Get them to fight again. It's not over. Well, it wasn't over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, if anybody remembers that.
Is that from that movie?
It's from
Bluto?
Animal House.
Bluto or whatever his name is.
Yeah, from Animal House. I said that on Twitter one day, and I guess a young kid came back to me and goes, "You better go learn history. The Germans bombed Pearl Harbor." He was yelling at me. I wrote back, I'm like, yeah, okay. Sorry.
Ask him how he knows.
I thought the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor, you moron. Get out of here. I forget that, I could be talking to a 10-year-old kid or I could be talking to a 100-year-old man. I don't know. Listen, I don't try to interact. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to tell you my opinion from my knowledge of what I'm doing. All right, that's it. I'm not here to sit here and hold your hand. I appreciate people like KYP wanted to play pickleball with me. I love it. That's life, doing things like that. We both come from Brooklyn, but we'd love to meet up and do this. That's great. And I went out of my way to meet you, William, and I met many other people. I love doing that stuff. I don't want to sit here and do this nonsense. It's criminal. Ken Griffin, the Kramers, the Alpine, these guys, it's just unbelievable. It's remarkable that this has gone on this long. Never in my wildest dreams that I think I'll be doing this 24 years. I thought I finished these guys off 23 and a half years ago. But I don't want people to get dragged into this. It's a tough fight. I have friends that passed away that were fighting with us. People have had heart attacks. People have lost their homes. One gentleman is concerned that he's going to lose his home. His mom's in it. And, he's been in it. She's been in it her whole life. It makes me sick. I was lucky enough when I worked on Wall Street. I was taught one thing, pay off my home. And I did it, 20 years ago, I paid off my home. That was the first thing. Before you become a disgusting animal that I am, I paid off my home. So I knew I always had my home. And that's what I did. It's not a mansion, but it's mine. That's just the way it is. I wanted to borrow off it a couple of times when things were down and out. And I didn't do it. Instead, I took the shitty job like I told you about. And if I did borrow at some point, and I couldn't pay it back, I could have lost the house, which thank God I didn't do it. I said, okay, I need new windows. I need a new door. I just held on and said, okay, those are shitty. I'll just paint it and hopefully it doesn't fall down. That's what I did. I was lucky like that. Some people just make the mistake and they borrow and think, everything going to be okay. And I looked at it saying, don't make a mistake. Don't lose your home base. And that's the way I was taught. And lucky it worked out.
Swell.
That's it. What can I say? Anything else? So you want me to? Are we done here, or I don't want to?
Yeah, I don't see any other questions. One guy. One guy's asking you, Ham. Can you give an update on Alpine?
What? That's Richard, not legal advice. Excuse me, whoever you are. I am an idiot.
It's CP.
I'm not an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. Although I did take accounting, and the only reason I took it because I sat behind a very pretty girl, and I vowed that I would get into our class. That's all I wanted to do. But other than that, I am a stock trader that understands numbers. I understand data. I memorize this stuff. Okay, I memorized trades from 20 years ago. So again, that's what I do. Alpine is a crooked prime broker that got busted. Richards, we both discussed it. Who was paying the legal bills, which had to be millions of dollars. to defend a business that was going to never going to win. They were doing something. We felt that they were hiding all their assets or whatever they're doing. They're trying to, it's like going to play golf. When you walk in the sand trap, right? Everybody uses the little rig to hide their footprints, right? That's what these guys were trying to do. That's the only reason to do that. But I really do not know much about Alpine. I know that they robbed everybody on Wall Street. People that I know, and they're on this call now. My good friend out of Miami told me about them a long time ago. That you know, if you're an IR guy, you give them your shares. They would short against your positions. They did everything to steal your money, everything. You know, but they specialized in small cap companies. So small cap companies, you know, Goldman Sachs doesn't want them, so they go to smaller firms, and the smaller firms are like gangsters. They're robbing it. They're robbing the crooks and they're robbing the investors. That's what Alpine was. And John Hurry and his wife going fancy parties with all their diamonds and everything, thinking that, you know, I saw the photo of her in their houses in Fort Lauderdale and Arizona and the Caymans. They're throwing parties in one of the islands. Someone put up, they sponsor parties in the islands. They're criminals. I think it was the U.S. Virgin Islands. I forget where they were. I can't remember.
She looks like one of those cartoon characters out of Richie Rich.
Oh,
The large matronly looking.
That just shows you. When you lose control of your life. I'm happy what I do and go play pickleball. Okay, I don't need anything. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have all the greatest things in the world. These people, they have no life. They want to buy diamonds and have parties and spend money because that's their personality. That's the only thing that gets them through the day. That's it. And it's disgusting to be like that, you know. And I know people that are super wealthy, and I think that they just do nothing but try to find something to spend their money on. Like it's a bigger boat, a bigger plane, a bigger this, a bigger that. And you know what? Life goes by too fast. And if you can't eat 100 pounds of steaks a day, you can only eat 3 square meals. I mean, just think about it for a second. Don't get me wrong. I want you guys to be comfortable. Everybody wants to be comfortable. And I want to go on vacation to I had an opportunity to go to Las Vegas 3 weeks ago with some very wealthy people. And I could have got a free room, but I had to pay for my airline. I had to pay for this. I had to pay for, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going there to spend $5,000 just to go away for 5 days to hang out. I'm not 20 years old anymore. I don't need to do that. And I turned it down. At some point, you got to sit there and say enough of that. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me. You know, so again, you make your own decisions. I'm not about conquering the world anymore. I'm looking to have a secure family, earn money, and move down the roads. These guys are criminals, and I'm going to fight as much as I can, but I cannot do it forever. To me, people, this is the final battle. We got the most powerful man in the world behind us. Never in a million years did I think that I would have that opportunity to have him defend me. And he's defending all of us. And it's your time, and throw away all the bullshit, the Democrat, Republican bullshit. This guy is here to save us financially. This is your chance. If you want to buck that, do me a favor. Reach out to me on Twitter and tell me you don't give a shit about him saving our money. Then get the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit. I want my money. I want my family to be safe. If you don't want that, then go fucking live with the migrants and get the fuck out of my face. That's how I feel. Okay, this isn't a political thing. I want my family to be safe, my kids and my grandkids. If you don't want to deal with that, then get out of my face. Don't waste my time. All right, William.
So
I'm gonna go.
All right, go.
No, give me
This
that.
Roy wants to know: would you buy DJT first, then those other 2 stocks you talked about?
It's a tough thing. I don't, you know, DJT is listen. Let's look at it risk reward. Okay, that's how I base things on. DJT can be a rocket in the morning. Okay, it can also drop up, down, sideways. You know, until the hearing and everything comes out, it could be a non-event. It could open at 52 and drop to 35. I do not know. I look at that. It's got great rewards, but it also has risk in it. Okay, I think that there's too much heat. I think the stock, is going to explode, but there's always downside. So then I look at that and say, okay, we know what can happen in DJT. But then I look at it and say, okay, if I buy FingerMotion at $3.75 or $4, whatever it is, okay, where's my risk? My risk in that stock is the stock going up because it's valued higher already. So that stock doesn't have the same risk as a DJT. So if you're a very wealthy man, okay, and you can play the game, then go buy DJT. If you're a person like myself that's looking not to get blown out, I'm not in the position to lose 20, 30,000 trying to roll the dice, trying to get a monster home run, which I agree with. Then I'll look at it. I'd rather play it safe. That's the way I look at it. You may want to go buy GameStop. GameStop ran 5 points recently. If GameStop was laying flat at $10, it was probably worth a shot. Now that it's 16 or 17, whatever it is, it's a lot more risky now, right? You say, okay, GameStop and AMC run together. Did AMC run? Maybe I'll jump on that one. I play catch up. That's how people.
Well, the hard lesson to learn is if you were accumulating GME and now it's up. For me, I'm just talking for myself. You have to take some money off the table so that you're not.
The reason I would take money off the table in GameStop, is because that stock is in the late innings.
Absolutely.
It's already had its run.
Yeah.
Wall Street, hedge funds, okay, they don't like to come back to a stock that's played out, meaning that it's already been played.
Yeah.
That short squeezes happened. And give me 1 second, William. Hold on a second. Someone told me Buffett. I said that the other day. Someone just told me Buffett sold his Apple computer. What did I tell you about those stocks? When they're going up, sell them. Because when they want to get out, watch what happens. Everybody's going to get out at the same time. Give me 1 second I'm going to go right to the GameStop. Give me 1 second. Easy, William. Stop yelling.
I'm still trying to buy an Apple computer.
All right, so GameStop closed at 1647. Let's look at the most important thing. The percentage of the float owned by institutions. When I exposed GameStop.
165.
177. You were close. The percentage owned by institutions was 177%, right?
All right.
It's been 34%. So when it was 177 and the stock screamed, obviously all the institutions that owned it, what did they do, William? They sold it. And now the institutions only own 34%. There's your data. Institutions bought it all. When it ran up, they all dumped it. So now you have a stock that has 34% institutional ownership, and it's been the same for the last couple of months, maybe a year. It's been the same. When that number changes, if you go to Yahoo, and just go to Yahoo, everyone, and hit a quote in GameStop, and on the left-hand side, just below options, it says holders, HOLDERS, and you can see it for yourself. The percentage owned by institutions is 34%. It's a drop of 150%. That means when the stock screamed, they all sold it, and so the holders now is only 34%. So it's completely changed. When that number goes up, that tells me the institutions are starting to believe in that company. And that's when it'll squeeze again. That's how I look at it. It could have squeezes because of, people, retail, whatever, but it's not going to go far. AMC is 27%. I did not follow AMC in the short squeeze days. So I'm the first to tell you that. I did not follow it. But that's how I base it on.
Do you trust Devin Nunes?
Yes.
Can you repeat for FGCV what you just heard about GTI this morning, not more than 18 minutes ago or whatever it was?
What are you talking about? My pickleball game?
No.
That's all I want to talk about, right? I want to talk about my backhand smash into some guy's chest at 200 miles an hour. That's
And
what I'm
no
talking
one
about.
was watching.
No one was watching but these three kids. That was it. Anyway, yes, I heard that GTI's management, I hear, is getting ready to fold.
And FGCV, that's a good thing. So I would hold off.
William, when you say FG, I thought that was a symbol. I don't know what the hell you're
That
talking
this
about.
is some guy. Maybe it's a symbol, but it's a
Okay,
young
you can just say,
man.
from now on, just say, you know, a shareholder. Don't have to give
A
me the-
shareholder is saying he's wondering. Anyway, it sounds like we might over the next couple of days hear something.
Let it play out first.
Yeah.
Listen, if let's say the stock is 12 cents or 15 cents, wherever it is,
Yeah.
and management does leave, and they come out with a press release, and there's going to be a new change of command. You know what? If it's 30 cents, then you don't have to moan that I missed it at 12 or 13. You pay 30 cents or 40 cents, but still it's going to go way higher than that if everything turns, correct? So let the news come out. If you have a lot of FU money, you can decide to buy it. If management stays, then you're on the Titanic. I mean, it's very, you know, let it happen first. That's how I look at it. I don't know. That's the way I look at things.
Well, Sue is asking. I've made my answer clear, but she wonders, do you think MMTLP will ever resolve? Should you leave it?
I have no idea how that's continuing. You know, the only thing I can say to everyone there is that we tried everything. It's got to be so massive, like everything else is so massive. Listen, if Devin Nunes is out there screaming that the SEC is a fraud, that the naked shorts is 700 million shares in DJT, do you know how you realize what's going on in DC? They got to be standing there shaking in their boots because it's coming and they can't stop it. They can't even say anything. Think about the SEC. They got to go to the politicians soon, and they know they're getting dragged in. What are they going to say? Whoops, we forgot to check. We don't know how this happened. There's a problem in the system. They're going to have to explain this. And it's going to get brutal. And I wouldn't want to be in their shoes.
So Felix Ojozim just won the first set in the finals in Madrid Open versus Andrei Rublev.
I see you're dragging us out of pickleball to tennis.
Tennis is much more, men's tennis is much more interesting.
I like women's tennis more than men's tennis. I think the women play a better game. It's slower paced, and I think it's more fun to watch than the men.
Probably,
I think they should all go back to wooden rackets. I think
you probably enjoy women's basketball.
I don't watch, although I heard that I have never watched women's basketball. I don't watch men's basketball anymore. I was given the gift of 2 Knicks tickets. And by the way, I was at the game when John Stock dunked over Michael Jordan, which is the most famous dunk in creation, I think. I was at that game. I was a big Knicks fan for a long time. But I was at the Knicks game, and I was given 2 tickets, and I sat on the floor next to the visitors' bench, right next to the bench, the first 2 seats. And I took a young boy with me, a friend's son. He loved basketball. The tickets were $4,000 each, and they were given to me as a gift. I thought about going to sell them and buy a car, but I couldn't because the camera's right on me, and the people who gave me the tickets would probably see me. So anyway, I went to the game, and Carmelo Anthony was a famous basketball player, very good basketball player. He was so disgusting and cursing and vulgar in front of the kid. I mean, I've heard every dirty word in the world, but I just play the game. You're making $30 million a year. The fans are here with kids, and I just turned me off, and I just stopped watching it because I really don't see what goes on the floor. But I was on the floor, and I witnessed it, and he, to me, was just disgusting.
You should have bought a
very
car.
Confident what he did, and it turned me off. I never watched it again. I don't watch it again. And I played every day for years. I played basketball.
So can you tell us about your best pump and dump?
My best pump and dump
Yeah.
was Campbell soup. It's the truth. I bought 35 million shares of Campbell soup at $35, and the seller stopped, and I was pumping it all over the street. We had to own it. We had to own it. We had to own it. I bought it all, and First Manhattan was the seller. First Manhattan stopped selling it. Morgan Stanley jumped up 7 points. Morgan Stanley bought all the stock for me. That was my best pump and dump.
That sounds pretty good.
Right on the nose. I gave it to you. I gave it to you as though it happened yesterday.
And your mother said, "How did you
What do you
make your
do?
money? What do you do?"
Why did that all happen? I said, I don't know. It's a good question. Why are they calling you? I said, I don't know. It's a good question. But I made a lot of money in the middle of it, so I was okay. I guess that was the good thing. I don't know what happened after that. And that's what every broker does on Wall Street.
Um,
And I never was a small cap player. I never played a penny stock. I never did that at all. I was on the institutional desk, option desk, and I used to hear guys saying, I just bought 10 million shares in a stock at 002. It's going to go to 3 cents. I'm going to make $1 gazillion. And I look over and I'm like, what are they talking about? I never even paid attention to it. It never caught my attention.
so do you have a life? Sorry. Do you have a life? Are you wasting your time?
I'm wasting my time.
Okay.
No, I'm not wasting my, no, what I'm trying to say is, hey, people, I can't stop wasting my time on this because I invested too much time into it. After year 10, you say, I'm going to quit at 11. After year 14, I said, only another couple of weeks and I'm done. After 23 years, I said, I'm done. Now it's 24 years. I'm telling you, Devin Nunes just gave me my retirement. I'm done. I can't do anything more. I can't go to DC. I'm not going to light myself on fire in front of the SEC building. I would make a bad flame. I can't do that. You know, this is the end. I can't do anything more. I'm trying to stress to everybody on these calls. This is it. Whatever little you can do or say, if you're on Twitter, if you're on the Raging Bull or StockTwits or whatever else is out there, Devin Nunes has got to make this happen to expose them. And I believe it. Just get behind him. He's our guy. Then find whatever stock you think can relate to it that can make you money because it will be life-changing. That's how I look at things now. And if you hate Donald Trump, I don't give a shit. That guy's here. He put Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes is speaking to Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump has to do anything about DJT, it has to happen now. Because when he becomes the president, the first thing he can't say when he gets into office, hey, can you settle the trades at DJT, my stock? He cannot do that. It has to be now. If it's now, it's showtime. That's it. It has to happen now. And each hour, each minute, we're getting closer between the elections and where we are now. It's getting closer. So take away the weekends. I'm sure that if you count the days, there's not many days between the election. Take away the weekends and just do trading days. It's getting shorter and shorter. All right. The time keeps marching on. So pick your stock, whatever you want to do. I don't really care. I outlined why I'm in FingerMotion. I outlined why we're in GTII. GTI started because of some convertible debenture. And they paid it back. It was the Kramers, Alpine, all those criminals. Then by accident, FingerMotion bumped into Benchmark, which led us to Lynn Partners. But I was in FingerMotion way before that happened. So I've been following the company for a long time. The fundamentals are there, and that's why I'm here. GTII needs to add fundamentals. Management leaves. There's 10 companies that want to merge into GTI. Not one, 10. And, William spoke to one. I spoke with them also at Trento Mine. There's other companies left and right.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of demand for shell companies, which isn't to be disparaging.
The one thing that GTI has
It's a huge short position.
Forget the short position. It has a big shareholder base. It has a big shareholder base. So that's real. That's, the short position.
And
is
the
great.
website. Oh my gosh, the website. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But again, listen, everybody. That's all I know. I'm super excited. But Devin Nunes is our leader. Go watch his videos. It's a breath of fresh air that we all needed. It's right there. If you don't feel that he's gonna turn it and make it work, then move along, sell whatever you have, and go short whatever you want, because the market will crash and everyone will get wiped out. Everything will just totally, become mayhem, because the whole equity market will be just collapsed. It'll be a race to zero. All right.
All right. That was well said.
All right, everyone. Have a
Okay.
great night. I'm super
you.
excited. This week should be great. Please, please, please stand behind Devin Nunes. He is our guy. And if management leaves the GTII, William is our guy. William, my vote for you is to be the CEO. I'm going to get you a white horse and a crown and send you to the front to lead the charge.
I'll settle for a computer. And
I'll
then,
settle for a Dunkin'.
and then we'll make it work.
All right, everyone, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. And like I said, Devin Nunes, watch his videos. He said he's not leaving any stone unturned. He said he knows everything about investigations. I don't think you can get any better than that. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Call ended.
All right. I'll try to go a little bit, but thank you, Barbara. I can feel a case of gout coming on. It's not that big, but you can sort of see how red it is. It's just starting, but it just goes through. Anyway, some of you have had it. It goes, it's very painful, but it goes through my system. So it makes me want to just sleep, except I can't because it's painful. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And you might be right. I'm paying Mexican. I might be paying for not drinking enough water or stress, usually stress or not having enough water. Plus, I know what it could be. I think I know what it is. I had the night of the finger dinner, before it started, I had 2 non-alcoholic beers. That's what it could be. 2 non-alcoholic beers, because beer can give you, the barley can give you gout. That could be what it is, because I don't drink. So, but everybody else was having something, and I'd had too much sparkling water, so I changed it. Prednisone is the answer. Prednisone is the answer, but in this country, and I know you're in this country, I'm not trying to be any kind of anything, but half a pill of prednisone would make it go away, but you need a doctor to give it to you. That's the problem. That's what I should probably do, is see if I can get my doctor to give me a prescription. Next time I'm in the UK, maybe I can just buy some. Sea moss? I don't know where to buy sea moss, but I'll try. I'll do that. Prednisone is the answer. Prednisone is the answer. Oil of oregano, I can find that. Oil of oregano. Yeah, GTII. If this news is true, Sway, and everybody on here, if he's going, then all my videos I've been doing, where I've been hammering that point home, we start all over again. I would guess if there's an announcement, there'll be a reflexive bounce on the stock. I'd have to look at a chart and think about it, but I guess New York City would be where I'd go, maybe somewhere else, but we just put everybody in a room and we can jumpstart that stock. And then make it painful on the creams. Thank you, Cliff, very much. That's awfully generous. Is that Clint Eastwood? Oh, it's not. It's a hell of a thing. I don't know. You would think fruit's a good idea, but fruit has a lot of fructose. I don't know if it's called fructose, but it has a lot of sugar. That doesn't work. The Big Short's great. You like my haircut? Thank you, Gretchen. I kind of miss my hair. Thank you, Cliff, again. Thank you very much. Gary Gensler has never explained anything. 2 non-alcoholic beers, what's the point? Just to fit in, but it actually tasted pretty good. I should have stopped at 1, but couldn't control myself. Oh, they were very small. It was good. It was some brewery somewhere that it was in a can, but it was what do you call those? Anyway, the small jobs. It was nice. And then I switched to sparkling water to tap off the evening. An entire bottle. Thank you, Colonel. The horror. Now, getting gout is, I know they say it's from the rich man's disease and all that. Maybe it is, but it's your genes. My mother used to get it. She'd always laugh as she ate shrimp or lobster. And she just made a joke out of it, but she got it. My dad, when he was posted to Birchco, he got it once. And he told me he got it. But anyway, he never had it again. But she used to get it all the time. It's in your genes. It's hereditary. It's not. You're fine, Mexican. You'll be fine. But I'll tell you the one thing in America: stop drinking or eating high fructose corn syrup. Just skip that. It's the worst stuff. All right. I'm a doctor of law. Can I proscribe? You can be prescriptive. You could find something that's probative. You might even be able to scribe, be a scripter. Michelle, I never believed it at all. I was in London once and I went to the poop back when I drank, and I went with my friend's boyfriend. It's complicated, but he's a great guy and young, and we went to a pub, and I had 2 black and tans, which is the mixture. You know what a black and tan is. And a pint, mate. I have a pint. And I didn't recognize it, only in retrospect, but I could feel it in my feet. And we had been out walking. I figured I was just tired. I ended up on the couch for about a week and a half. I couldn't walk. And I now know that beer does it. Beer does it. Celery and carrot juice sounds great. Small batch. That's it. Small batch. Small batch. And fluids. Small batch craft beer. Yep. Fluids is it. You got to drink a lot of water. A lot of water. Gout occurs when, yes, that's it. That's it. And it all boils down that my kidneys don't process things the way yours do. What if this was part of President Trump's plan? Ken Griffin counterfeits stock squeezes Trump, makes a ton of money, uses get it on partners. Griffin makes him Secretary of Treasury. Well, here's the good side of that kind of theory, Phil, is I bet the left is the crappy journalism that we have now, that's all what's the word? It's all on the left. It's all on the complete whacked out side now. I used to love the news when it gave it to me all different directions. I could make up my own mind. So anyway, my point is they'll probably look, if DJT, let's say it went to 150, it'll be all over the news. And on 39 million shares, he's up $100. Is that $4 billion, or is it more? Anyway, let's just say his net worth soars to 10 billion. There'll be that kind of conspiracy theory written about. And then even that complete sellout, dishonest woman, well, Rachel Maddow, she'll study it, and she'll come up with a theory. But what's the good news? They'll see that it's counterfeit. They'll see how it works. They'll see the counterfeiting. And so however they want to write the story is fine with me. They're going to learn the mechanics of how the criminals do it. But no, I don't think it's Trump's plan. But anyway, we don't have to argue about that. If it's in your genes, just take off your pants. You're slaying me. You're slaying. No Boeing whistleblowers. It's just, I'm tired of Arkansides. Drink too much alcohol, very large fatty meal, get diet, injure a joint. Yeah. Injuring a joint does it. Thank you, SL. We will not stop until it's over. I agree with that. And I have to admit, Shannon, I think, if my brain is still working, I have to admit that I get disappointed in myself when I overreact and all that. But what keeps me coming back is we got to fight it. We got to finish it. We got to finish it. And the real perpetrators aren't CEOs or IR guys, although, I've expressed some theories out there on that, on some people. The real perpetrators are the criminals, the pretend financiers, and they're at the fronts who have the shorts as their clients. Really? Sea moss has 92 of 102 minerals. Our body, is that because we came out of the sea and our bloodstream is just a replication of the sea? Protein does lead, it's everything when you study it. It's peas, it's not broccoli, asparagus, it's nuts, it's crabs, shrimp, lobster, red meat, red wine. Then I heard beer. It's high fructose corn syrup. It's losing weight too fast, gaining weight too fast, not drinking enough water. It's, in my case, I think it's almost always stress, but I notice travel does it too because you get run down. It is, Mark's right. It is when you get a blow on one of your joints. And I'm leaving some other things out. So it's a lot. Everybody has a different theory. Are you teaching me? It's all about your purines. And you guys out there, your kidneys do process purines. Whatever you have works. For me, I don't process purines. When Richard Burton died, they found uric acid, crystallized uric acid along his spine and in his various joints. He used to go on stage in pain, but he didn't stop drinking. Maybe he did, I don't know, for a while. But to me, his was probably drinking or not drinking enough water. But it's like crystallized glass in your joints, and imagine how that feels. I do like, my computer is going very slow. Susan, I do like beats, particularly the upbeat. I like syncopation. But the backbeat will do it. No, I like beets very much. I like beets. I like carrots. I like. I didn't know there's. I didn't know there's more than. I didn't know that DBMM. I thought it was just uric acid. Of course, the UK bans high fructose corn syrup. There's other things in the UK and Europe. Like there's this thing called I think it begins with an F. It's called oh gosh. I think it's not that. It's another F. Frates. Anyway, we put it in all our foods, and Europe doesn't allow it. It's called I can. It's almost coming in my Biden head. Yeah, it's amazing how our food is all industrialized, and it's all approved by the FDA, which is bought by the big food producers, and just like the SEC is bought by the banks. When are we going to change our government back to where we can rely on honesty? I mean, we don't elect people in the government so they can get rich. If they want to get rich, go start a company or join a company. Become a lawyer. Yeah, oxalate crystal. I never heard of that, but fruits for sure. And I've been eating some oranges, and I stopped eating apples because somebody told me it can come from apples. But I'm trying to get back DBM, and not that anyone cares. I'm trying to get my dosage of allopurinol up, because once that gets to a certain level, I should be all right. But nothing every. Don't wear jeans, wear shoots. I love turnip greens too. I like turnip salad when you cook it. But you cook turnip greens with lemon and butter. I like that, and fresh beets. Gout was called the disease of kings a couple 100 years ago. Ah, the New World fruit, tomatoes. By the way, you're right. Tomatoes. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say potato, I say potato. Potato, potato. Let's call the whole thing off. When W.C. Fields said that he never drank water, fish blank in it. Vitamin C surfing course. I'll look up sea moss. I'll look up sea moss as long as you can get it away from Fukushima Daiichi. Juice will help my kidneys filter. Carrot juice, okay. Celery, I love it. I love it all. 3 Aleve. I don't. You sound like Amjad, that you get gout, because you're right. If you don't nip it right away, it takes forever to go away. It takes forever. I have some culture scene, but man, that when your body produces uric acid as a byproduct of purines, low purine diet. Yeah, good luck. Beef, fish, mackerel, herring, some vegetables, nuts. They all have purines. For a word you never heard of, it's all over the place. C, car key, kiwi, Kipling. You mean use the letter K instead of the letter C? Ah, what a silly bunt. You should not be putting cocaine on your joints. I don't have a joint in my head. I don't use drugs. Oh, your mother had it. Oh my gosh. Oxalates, whatever that is. I'm sorry your mother got it. Women don't get it as much as men. What if you hired a liar to tell jokes and he charged you $350 for 15 or 20 minutes and they didn't subdivide it? So any part of that first 20 minutes you had to pay for. So you had to pay for the jokes. Blow on your joints. I got you. Organ meats. I hate liver. Alcohol, seafood. Yeah, it's tough. Beets. I love beets. We've gotten off track. We're talking about gout. What does that have to do with the struggling young artist like myself? Tough. I'm sorry for your mother. Exactly. I agree, ordinary angler. Vegetables suck. I have a feeling it's our modern industrial vegetables. If you were to live in the mountains of Italy and collect your vegetables from a garden that was fed from a brook, from the waters that took hundreds of years to flow or through the rocks, I bet the vegetables would be good. The modern tomato, there's nothing to it. Oh God, organ meat is bad, but piano keys are good. Can't trust doctors. Well, I think that's right. Thanks for the debrief. Let me debrief. I'm not going to read that out loud. I heard that Jordan Peterson got a contract for $60 or $90 million with Daily Caller. Is that true? I like him. Strawberry jam and scuba diving. Is that your shorthand for going out with Meghan Markle? That's probably true. Probably doctors were smoking and drinking martinis. Apple cider vinegar is supposed to be good. Allopurinol is great if you can get it in your system. The problem is it actually makes it worse as you're getting it in your system, but then it blocks it. I don't know. I'm tired of the whole thing. Tired of the whole thing. I don't know what else you guys want to talk about, but the New York Times, Washington Post, CSIS, USAID, CNN, Scientific American, PBS, New York Review of Books. I'm skipping a bunch of them. Euronews, Al Jazeera, nobody will trust that. LA Times, USA Today, Seattle Times, Vox, BBC. BBC. What is famine? When is it declared? UN News, Reuters. Anyway, The Guardian, The Economist. I'll read the headline from The Economist, but they're all the same. Gaza is on the brink of a man-made famine. The New Yorker, Gaza is starving. So, the Washington Post, Gaza famine looms. Los Angeles Times, UN official says famine in northern Gaza is already full blown. I'll just read the New York Times and we'll get off this subject. New York Times, parts of Gaza, 3 hours ago, parts of Gaza in full-blown famine. Starvation is entrenched in northern Gaza and is moving its way south. That's the New York Times. So when we end, again, I'm going to ask you to pray for at least pray for the half of the population who are children. That way we can keep it apolitical. spinach, almonds. I don't know what rhubarber is. Are you talking about rhubarb? Oxalates. That's a good point, DBM. But you know what? When you eat meat, you're eating what the cow ate, and a lot of our grass is you know, what do you call it when you squirt insecticides? And I don't want to horrify you, but every day from the troposphere and in rainstorms is coming levels of what do you call them? Isotope. I don't think it's called isotopes, but radiation that's coming over from Japan, and it comes every single day. It has been since March 11th of 2011, and it's getting in all of our water and everything. And then the other thing about meat is they're putting the science directly in the meat instead of having us have to follow the science in our own blood. Oh, my brother-in-law in Israel has gout. I'd love to know what it is. I think Amjad was right. Prednisone knocks it out like that. But then, that I guess makes you look like Jerry Lewis. I think the key will be coming up with a diet and just sticking to it. The gentleman who pointed out tomato, because I just had some tomato sauce, it could have been that. The exosphere. Well, there's a great book. I wish I could remember the title. I gave mine away to the head of oil and gas, or no, I told her about it. Oil and gas. I think she's at Merrill Lynch now. It used to be called it used to be called Petrie Advisors. But there's a great book about a woman. It's written by a woman, I think. No, I don't remember. I gave it away. I gave it to this. Don't remember who wrote it, but it's about somebody jumping, I think, from the exosphere. Anyway, as high up as you can. And it's just a discussion of how you fall through all these zones in the atmosphere. And the real point I took away from it is our atmosphere is like a sea. It's like a sea of oxygen, and there's all these different levels, and it moves like a sea. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting way about looking at it. Well, that's my name. I didn't write that, but hey, I don't know who wrote that. So I'll take it down, but I will say that if it's true that the dead hand, not dead, but that image of a pirate ship, dead hands on the wheel, if that stops, then we have room to make something happen. And so it might be true. What's the difference between this one and mine? I guess mine has a period in it, and you left the period out. Apple cider vinegar. I like that. I'm going to look back into that. Hamas is not letting ton of foods go through. I don't want to be political, Robert. We can blame it on Hamas. We can blame it on whomever. But the fact remains that there's probably 500,000 people to 1 million people, and half of them are children that sure could use our prayers. That's all I was saying, Robert. I'm not trying to have a, can't win it. Exactly. We can all agree, whatever we think, we can all pray for the children. The ticker symbol for gout is PAIN. PAIN. Yeah, the food is everything we eat is all fake. What was that thing called? Fixate, fractal. Anyway, here in this country, it's in all of our processed food. In Europe, they won't allow it. It's banned. It's banned. Driving on the highway, the processing is, as they say up in Canada, the processing of modern food depends highly on our microbiome. That's our bugs in our stomachs. And you're right. For a long time, I thought by eating yogurt that I was helping my microbiome, but even that, they add sugars and other things. I love your idea of just trying to eat food that is as close to possible as non-processed. If you regularly eat lots of fruit and vegetables, you have a lower risk of type 2 diabetes and you grow roots. All right, let's go down to the bottom. I was behind the GTII. Well, I think, Craig, I have come out very strongly, almost brutally, on GTII for two reasons. We didn't sell. I didn't. I mean, I did a couple of trades, like I'm not going to go into percentages, but I did a small percentage over into MMTLP, small percentage into Logic, and a couple other things, because over time, because I've made the mistake before to have everything all in one thing and it runs. Oh, and I did finger. I lost them. I lost on all three. Damn. But I made money. Anyway, is to take some of the money out and try to have it spread around. I bought that HNRC when it was making that distribution. Of course, those shares still don't trade. But if WDHI ever trades, the point is, it gives you some capital to trade with if things go wrong. And so anyway, one of my main messages is there's no question that trade has round tripped, and nobody but ourselves individually or as a group is going to help us out of it. And I see it as very difficult as long as the current guy's in charge. And that was my second point. That was my second aim, is to make it how clear you're never going to see a comeback. I guess a third observation is I think it's going to be really hard to get the sustained buying in it again and the excitement. unless we can change the story. And I know we can. I know we can. I know how with all of us, we can build the momentum, the pressure, shine the sunlight spotlight. I think we can make it happen. And as we're working toward that goal, the surprise would be the surprise of all surprise. Why do I call it surprise? My argument is the way you get squeezes is you have to surprise the shorts. They have every angle figured out. But if you can come up with one that surprises them, then you get the squeeze. And I think we can do that. Susan, let me just put my wrist down so I can move my mouse. Just do it slowly, slowly. No, I didn't, Susan, because well, if I were to do it, and I might tomorrow, I would do the call options. I can't afford the stock. To me, a couple of the other stocks make more sense as a way to make money. To me, though, I wouldn't buy the May calls on DJT. That's how Ham does it. But he's willing. He's right. I've looked at it. If you buy May calls, you're roughly paying versus June in other stocks. I don't know about DJT. You're basically paying half of what you would pay for June or July. You can look. So why not just buy the shorter ones? If it runs, you risk less money, and then you save some cash. If they don't work, you can always buy them the next month. But Susan, if I were to buy DJT, and I might, I'm not saying I wouldn't, I would buy a handful of calls so that if the stock went up, I could sell a third, get my original money back, maybe with a profit, and let the rest run. And maybe if it runs enough, sell another third of it and let the rest go to the moon. I think DJT is a massive setup, It's going to be a surprise to the shorts. If they get public hearings, which is what I would call for, you could have a moment that is seared in the public's mind that changes how the markets work. You could get a lot of prime brokers just telling their clients, you got to get out of this trade. And it could be, but it's going to be volatile, Susan. If you buy calls in May or June, you could lose everything. If that guy Beery, I think it was Beery, bought 500 shares, that's brilliant. He got it at the low, but if it opens up Monday, I don't know if it will. They're going to try to do everything to destroy it. They'll probably come out with some other news that Stormy Daniels worked as an executive assistant at the executive office, and Roy Cohn, was the doorman. I don't. They'll come up with something to make it go down. But one thing, if I were Beery, let's say it went up $10, $20. Think about, but the premiums on the options will then be high unless you stay in the money and stay short in the time. But if I don't know, pick a number. If you doubled your money, sell the stock and just buy calls, because then you've pocketed the profit. All you can lose on calls is everything. But if you only pay $2 or $3, that's all you lose. And then oh God, I'm sorry. It's just, I can't do anything to make the pain go away. Is everything. Well, yeah, Craig, I think I was talking with him this morning, but to people that put half in GTII, half in finger, and that's how I was in this world. But I lost a lot in finger calls when I went down to do the interview for that movie. I don't like to think about it. Man, I just wish I hadn't thought about that. But finger's going to make back everything. And, you know, the reason to be in stocks, and these are speculative, is risk reward. And to get a return, you have to buy when they're cheap, and hopefully done the studies. And in Finger's case, there is a short squeeze setup in my judgment, but even without it, there's the fundamental setup. I'm a little less all hyped up just because of past experience, but I think Finger doubles or triples over the next weeks or months. And if we get lucky, you have just a massive run on it. Ham thinks it can squeeze if DJT goes, which is interesting. And I trust his instincts. I trust his gut reaction. And I know some of these boo birds make fun of it, but all these boo birds, they trade, they short stocks illegally, they collude with each other. And then they have the advantage that there's some big boys driving it down. They're not real traders. They're just criminals. Ham traded under the massive pressure with big bucks for years, so I trust his instincts. Sorry. I'm sorry for yawning. This poison is in my body. Yes, Moose Man. I think Finger could acquire other people. One thing that happens, Moose, is Wall Street doesn't, other than in the bigger names and the Magnificent Seven, it doesn't seem to allow particularly smaller companies to run ahead of themselves. Like this Telomere company, to me, that's the greatest story out there. It's only 9 months away, 8 to 12 months away. Back when I was younger, that stock would run way beyond its fundamental value, giving the management an ability to use stock as currency to go buy other ideas, other companies. That's a bit like a couple of other medical companies. Wall Street, these young punks and these pretend financiers, and they have huge websites. You know, I think of the two de-SPACs that we've been at least tangentially involved. These guys think, and there's some women, but I think it's the guys doing it, something about their testosterone. They want all the profits up front because they exist. They take everything out. They squeeze the lemon, babe. And they don't let the juice run down your leg. That's good. That's a good, Donna, you're smart. See, there's no perfect way to do that. But by doing that, if you were just taking the information you have there. If the only thing you had was GTI, I understand that. Hey, I really understand that. But if it runs up and as it's coming back down and you've been following finger and fingers down and you have no other cash, you say, I really want to be in finger. Well, I mean, to call it diversification is like saying, I can't give an example, but I mean, all you did, it's the same. Not only is it equities, it's the same space in equities, but the difference is Finger has these fundamentals. And of course, somebody pointed out, Ham says he doesn't care about fundamentals. I'm different. Everybody does it differently. I like to know the fundamentals cold, but stocks trade on emotions and they're stampeded. They're just like a herd of cattle. They're comfortable for a long time, meandering through the farm and up the hill and over the hill, and there's a rhythm to it until somebody comes in with shotguns, in the sky, and I don't know, big cows, big horses, and starts a stampede. That can be the run up in a stock, or that can be the sell off. There's less logic once it starts to trade like that. It's all fear of missing out, fear of losing, all of those things. So I like to study the fundamentals. I like to talk to as many people as possible. But when you're trading, fundamentals really don't matter. Trading is much more how the stock's behaving, and Ham can look at something and almost sense it. Others have to study charts, study money flow, the MACD, those kind of things. But to me, fundamentals let one know when the stock is cheap. Like I believe Finger got there. And so I think that's great. Now, let's say Finger runs and it gets at a big price. You could sell half a Finger and come back and double or triple your ownership of GTII. And going back to, was it Susan's question on DJT? And that's one reason I've been thinking, how could I trade GJT? It'd be nice to make a little money, even if you had 5 calls and it ran $20. That's a nice move. My reluctance in owning calls is the premiums are so high. If DJT were to move just $5, I might not make any money. So it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. I think there's a couple of trades out there that have a little more risk reward favorability. Well, Andy, GTII has now there's a side of the argument that we can't prove it. And I think, as Ham admitted today, in DJT, there's so much back and forth and there's so many players involved, you really don't know when they sell without locating the stock if they're buying back. That the reason to tend to believe the numbers and is that Ham has studied these over these years, and there's no indication of buying back. So I believe there's a large short position. We know that it's in court documents for GTII. But to be fair, there's an argument that there's no way. So you got to choose whether you believe it or not. I think let's put it this way, there's at least a good probability that there's a significant naked short or counterfeit short in GTII. And same with Finger. I have a feeling in both cases they're concentrated. But the numbers I know right now off the top of my head, and Andy, you have to look them up to get them right. And you have to look not only at Yahoo, but look at OTC markets. If you can stand it, look at corporate filings to get it right. But I think the outstanding shares in Finger, if I'm not mistaken, is something like 50 to 55 million. And the float is around 25 million. But then Mark made a big observation that the float was up to 37 million, something like that. But nobody, the insiders are not selling. The effective float is very small. In GTII, one of the negatives, Andy, and one of the reasons that I've seen that it becomes really difficult, when I first heard about GTII, the assumed naked short was somewhere between 40 and 60 million shares. And the float, to my memory, the effective float was something like 10 million. If I'm wrong, it was 15 or 20 million, but I think it was 10, the effective float. The numbers out were well under 100 million. But now GTI has like 400 million shares outstanding. And a lot of stock, the restrictions are coming off. So Andy, it's a tougher, there is a big short position conceptually, but there's also a massive amount of stock sitting in insiders' hands, charities. And so Andy, if it's true what we just heard this morning, that there's going to be an exit, and I hope it's friendly. And I personally think the management at GTII, Reichman, Griffin, and others deserve great credit for fighting the shorts and being on our side for, I'm going to say 2 years. If I'm wrong, it's just, essentially from January of 21 till now, a little more than 2 years, I guess. 2.5, 3 years. They deserve a lot of credit for that. They tried everything. But anyway, Andy, if there is going to be a change in control and direction, it needs to also involve the I'd say, I don't know if the status of all those shares. Those shares, a lot of those shares have to be given back to the company. I don't know if they can be retired or just put in the treasury. Either way, they have to be taken out of the calculus of, they can sell. We have to get the ratio of the float versus the short back in our favor. That's what I'm saying. And we can. Good morning, John. Keep squeezing my wrist to make the throbbing stop, but then to let it go and put it down is painful. Hey, John, thank you for joining. Oh, Sheriff. Sheriff Popcorn. I'm gonna get some rest. In fact, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's true, Craig. And that could change. That could change. If Alpine goes, those could be bought in. It would be nice if we could retire or take out of the cap table or move it on the cap table to unissued, let's say 200 million shares. That'd be great. It's crazy, FINRA. And I know it is. It is. It's terrible. Well, there was a time when I listened to a lot of that. I don't know anything about. I love that. Is that a dog? Pink? Yeah, that's it. I've been to the edge, babe, and there I stood and looked down. I lost a lot of friends there, babe. I've got no time to mess around. You know you're semi-good looking. I've heard all about your disease. I may have something you want, babe. But I've got something you need. No, you may have something I want, babe. But I've got something you need. You need. All right, I'm going to sign out, I think, because my wrist is really killing me, and I would love to take a prednisone or half of one. I would love it because Amjad is right. If you don't nip it, I need to know where I can get some. Let's see if oh, it's 4-3. Rublev is winning. It's on serve though. I think it's on serve. Keto diet, maybe that would work. Mainstream media can help me. All right, everybody. 3 o'clock. I'm going to sign off. I wish everybody peace, love, and happiness. I hope you have the rest of your day is great. I'm going to see if I can get Kristen and or Anna and or Richard and or Big JR maybe all on a live, maybe with him, and we can talk about all these things. But maybe it'd be better to do it after we have more information. And I brought up that other thing because it breaks my heart thinking about human beings in distress, but children, it just breaks my heart. Famine means not only starvation, but beyond the ability of the body. You're talking permanent damage to bodies and brains. Anyway, I don't want to cause any political or personal or any kind of response. I just want to suggest that if you think of it, maybe say a prayer for peace in the world and children everywhere that are affected by it. And remember to pray for Jenny L. And we'll leave it there. Oh, there's some questions. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for being here. It's a nice picture. It's a cool picture. That's a cool picture. I like ginger ale, Nunya. I love Ginger. She doesn't return my calls. but I like ginger ale. Homemade, yeah, homemade. I still have a scoop for my dividend. Oh, someone asked about the dividend earlier. Sorry, thank you, John, for bringing that up. Do we just write it off? Are we never going to get it? I am of mixed minds on that. I know that E-Trade is stalling me now for months. On the other hand, mechanically, they probably have one omnibus certificate, supposedly, and they have to send instructions in, have it released and sent back. I find that really fishy because when the stock is in, let's say, Morgan Stanley's name, street name, how Morgan Stanley subdivides it, the DTCC doesn't enter into it. So I've tried really hard to see it from their standpoint that there's a holdup. I personally think they should have issued all of the shares as restricted and they should have just been in your account, in your name, maybe in safekeeping. They don't like doing that anymore. But it should have been done. Certainly, they could argue we don't do safekeeping anymore. Certainly, at the 6-month level, once the company gave the blanket release, there should be no delay. So I just really have a hard time coming up with a reason why mechanically any of it should take so long. But maybe there is one. So on the other hand, maybe that means they're really having trouble delivering it, and that's a reason for a squeeze. But I wouldn't get my hopes up. I just don't see why they don't come to the conclusion. Let's just put a IOU. Let's just put a failed to deliver type entry into everybody's account. They're not selling, and let's sort it over the next months. It might be that the warrant as a special dividend highlighted this issue to back offices, and legitimately the first time they could say we never knew about it, but they can't say that now. That would really be joining in with the criminals. That would really be a felony. You could lose your licenses. So it's an interesting debate that possibly this dividend is going to cause buy-ins, but I'm so skeptical. I'm not going to hold my breath. But anyway, to answer I rambled. I think we'll get our dividends. They'll stagger it. If the stock goes lower, which that's the big risk. The stock might not go any lower. It could snap right back up. But if, as it goes down, maybe they'll issue them then. But also there is a small chance that somehow mechanically, in my case, Morgan Stanley is going through some process that's completely unheard of before. And eventually I'll get it. I wouldn't give up on the dividend. I think we'll get them in our accounts. Ginger ale on leave. How does high food? They don't help. They cause it. I didn't know citric acid caused it, but high fructose corn syrup causes it. Ginger is good in general. I liked it better when we were exclusive. Seeing each other. Cherries are great. I used to eat cherries by the bowlful. Montmorency cherry. All right. So anyway, I answered a little bit that dividend question. Still on serve. FAA won the first set. Still on serve in the second set. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Also, thank you, as ever, for forgiving me my trespasses. And we will see you on down the highway. Cheers. I screwed it up. It's amazing.
And part of that, as we discussed earlier,